Okay, so let's first just start off by Brian Baker. You're sitting over here.
Yeah, I got kicked out of my seat.
You got kicked out of the seat because the ladies are here.
I know, Erika. Damn that Erika.
So for everybody who's listening and watching, I talk about my young onset group of women, which I keep telling you, you can have your own group text of
We don't want
men.
a men's onset.
Tony's starting it. So
Tony is not.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. So I like to intro. You guys already know Erika if you've seen her episode. I don't even remember what number that is, but we'll have that showing where you were on before. And then Jill Culver is new. This is her first time to Ohio.
Really?
Yeah, she's from Washington State.
Have you ever been to Washington State? I have
Yeah,
not.
I've been to Seattle.
Oh, really? I have not.
Yeah, I had to think about that for a minute. Welcome to The Secret Life of Parkinson's, a podcast created by people living with Parkinson's to help break the stigma of a disease no one likes to talk about. Now, here are your hosts, Jessica Krauser and Brian Baker. So welcome, guys.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for coming. So do you want to tell us why you came into town? To beautiful Columbus, Ohio.
For the 5K for JK, of course.
We came in for the big weekend.
So this is your third year
This
coming?
is my third year.
And then this is your first.
Yeah.
You're coming back?
We got to recruit one more next time.
Yeah.
I said
Yeah.
every year we got to build
Keep on
one more.
growing.
Every year you're
it.
going to build one more. No, that's
Yeah.
awesome. So what'd you think?
It was so fun.
It was awesome.
It was also a little hot.
It was very hot.
Last year was cold, so
I heard.
You
It was
gotta
like, I
kinda
heard.
pick and choose
I think it
your,
was like 40 degrees and spinning rain or something
That's
last
very
year.
familiar to my Seattle heart. So I'm comfortable in the 40
so
degrees
90
spinning.
and sunny this year in September was a little different.
A little warm.
Yeah.
It was beautiful though.
But, so what did you guys think? Because do you have a community of Parkinson's? And you don't have a Parkinson's community.
I don't.
But you
You
guys
are
got
my
to go to
community.
PD Next
Yeah.
Steps Gym this weekend.
Yep.
We went
2
today
times.
as well.
Yep.
Scam is likely calling me. So you went this morning and you went
Saturday with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you think of having a community of people? Is it
It's a game changer.
really?
Yeah. I mean, for me, for
Like
sure.
how
we
did this
were-
weekend feel for you just because of that?
It was all the feelings, honestly. You know, like it's so special to be with people. I was saying we worked out at the gym this morning, and it was our second time. For me, you've been before, and you do their online.
It's probably very different workouts too, right?
Yeah.
People? 'Cause
Well, it's just nice. I'm a regular exerciser to begin with, and I was before PD, but I've reverted since getting diagnosed to working out by myself in my basement. I feel a little self-conscious working out in a group setting. And so to be in with other people and feel so comfortable just letting your body move the way it wants to move or not move the way it doesn't want to move
Yeah.
was such a liberating feeling. We were talking about that at lunch today, but just it was a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you?
It's been awesome.
Well,
Yeah.
we
So
usually
3
see
years-
you on TV, like on
You
Zoom.
do. And actually, someone today at the gym was like, "Are you the one with the really cool background on Zoom that usually works out with us?" And I was like, "Oh, the surfboards, and the paddle boards, yeah."
You mean my
really-
garage?
My garage.
And the
Well,
really,
they said it looked like she has a very exciting life because she's got all these like surfboards, paddle boards, all this activity stuff behind her in the backdrop.
what Florida can do.
That's
We
right.
talked yesterday. Erica and I talked yesterday. The progression of our PD and the 5K for JK. Like the first
That's
year,
right.
like,
the first year we ran.
We ran. Last year I think we walked. This year we didn't.
We didn't even walk all the laps. We were like, it's too hot.
I did one lap. I felt really bad, but I only did one lap this year.
I
I felt like it was crazy. It was a great turnout and everything. I
Yes.
think we've had over 500 people.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's great.
Which was an awesome turnout. We made for that fundraiser alone, because everything like was leading up to this main event that we have. We raised about 135,000 just from that event, and then for the year, I think we're at 146,000.
That's awesome.
And the other news that we got to share, and hopefully this is going to be something that we can talk even more about with our extended group or even people listening. I don't have all the answers just yet, but 5K for JK is a nonprofit. It started out as a walk, but it is a 501c3. That's where we raise the money to then go to kits towards exercise programs. We've helped people with like Uber to get to and from class. I mean, this podcast is a part of it, but not financially. Like there's, we just volunteer for this part. But the 5K for JK has the Parkinson's kits. We have the podcast, and now we also have PD Next Steps, because PD Next Steps is a for-profit business that we're now moving it over so that's going to be part of the nonprofit. So big things to come for that. Like I know Melissa's looking into, which she's already been looking into this for a while, creating like a certification, like program for PD Next Steps. So like if you're, aren't you a personal trainer? Or
I was a group fitness
instructor. Mm-hmm. But like, so if you recertified and you have that certification and then you get PD Next Step trained, then you can do PD Next Steps in your locations.
Yeah.
Or something, so like that. And yes, if you start or do it, it might start out small. Like Melissa started out with 3 people, right?
Something like that.
Yeah, I think she started out with 3. Now she has 103.
Yeah.
But like that's what I want to see. Like, how can we build this out?
How can we grow this?
Because so many people have even contacted her. I don't know if she told you this, but from the podcast, people have emailed her asking like, is there a PD Next Steps in Colorado, or can I get it here? Or can I get it there?
Yeah. I know she's been approached several times about franchising it out too, as well.
Yeah. I think it's more just like getting the education of like how she does it, what programs she's doing. Right. So, have you guys ever tried any of the other PD programs?
I've been to a Rock City boxing class pretty recently, actually. I tried one. And I had really good experience, but I don't think I would go often enough to make the financials make sense, honestly, because it was through my YMCA, and I had to buy a YMCA membership as well as a Rock City boxing membership. It was going to be like $150 a month.
Oh, it was 2.
So I would have to go like 4 times a week to feel justified in that kind of expenses.
Yeah.
It was a lovely experience, and I could see building a community with some of those people, but I was 20 years younger than everyone else in the group. There wasn't I didn't have a Brian Baker in my gym.
So glad I have a Brian.
So I have tried that, but I would love if there was a PD Next Steps, and I feel like my town could potentially support that kind of situation.
Well, it's getting the buy-in from the physicians in the area, the Parkinson Association. When I first got diagnosed, we had a very small or young onset Parkinson's group.
Yeah, we had that.
And it was started by the National Parkinson Association. But getting them involved and getting, connecting people, patients, doctors to do things. Like we did meet like once a month on like a Tuesday or something like that. And we'd have a guest speaker every other time. Then the other times we just sit there and complain amongst one another about our symptoms and our problems and our journey.
So what else, like from this weekend or just from being with other people like us?
So I joined your group. You guys met first, you and Erika, and I was diagnosed 2.5 years ago, and I joined pretty soon after. I was put in touch with you through another member of our group, through one of my doctors, when I asked her if she knew of anyone that had young onset in my area. And she said, I don't know of anyone in your area, but I do have a patient in another town. And so anyways, I got in touch with you at that point. And for me, it's so nice to meet people that not literally look like you, but it's the mirror neurons sort of thing, to be able to relate to people that are moms dealing with working and parenting at the same time, and all of those
stage of life.
Yeah. I mean, we're like 3 months apart in age, we realized.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And we have kids. My daughter's the same age as her.
About
And
the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
and so to meet in person after all these 2 years now of
Yeah.
just Zooming and texting with you guys in this women's
incredible.
group, it's been, I feel like we'll be in touch forever because of this.
Yeah.
It's like a
experience of being
sisterhood.
in- Yeah.
I always use this analogy of when I say I'm having a crappy day, someone without Parkinson's has no idea what I mean.
Yeah.
Man, as soon as I got into a group and I said, man, I feel like crap. And they, oh, yeah, me too. I feel like that. Oh, yeah, I have that. And man, I was like, okay, this is where, okay.
I'm not the only one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get it.
Yeah.
Because most
Really
people don't
get
get it.
Well, not only that, if you do say like I'm having a bad day, or you just know you are and don't want to say anything, other people are like, oh, well, try and do this, or oh yeah, I'm tired too, and I'm like, yeah, it's not the same crappy day.
Different
Yeah.
level.
But I mean, everybody else has their own.
Or they go,
things. So.
or that people go, oh, how are you doing? And oh gosh, slap your across.
I love
your
it. So
face.
like, if I'm really not doing good lately, I'm like, do you want to know? Because I'll tell you, and then I tell them, and then they're like, so does that happen like all the time? And I'm like, every single day. I just don't talk about it all the time.
Yeah, there's a relief in talking to people it feels less like you're burdening them when you're talking to someone else that has the same experience. There's so many people. I have a lot of good friends. I have people that love me. I have a very supportive husband, but there's only so many times you can be like, my toe twitch is driving me crazy, or my wrist won't stop twitching and clenching.
My dystonia is like super bad today.
Yeah. Like, how many times does my husband want to hear that? But I can say, like, we've spent this whole weekend, I feel like I've said it all. It's been such a relief to not feel like I have to censor that for a little bit.
Yeah, because it's not like, it's like when I say those things too, it's like, I'm not looking for sympathy.
No.
I just need to say it. So sometimes that's why journaling I think is good, but now I can't write very well, so I don't write. But that's why I know, like, talking, it just helps. So that's where, so many people are always like, you seem like you're doing well and da-da-da. I'm like, because I feel like I have a therapy session every day by going into the gym and then having this podcast. Like, my family, I need to make sure, like, I'm not always layering it on them. Yeah. So I'm hoping, like, I get it out at those places.
Yeah, it's an outlet.
Yeah,
I think everyone deserves to have it and should have it. I mean, maybe some people can survive without it, but for me, it's been a lifeline.
Yeah. Well, and you guys know my story, that my mom, I saw her go through this in the 80s and 90s alone.
Yeah.
She didn't know one other young onset person. So I could not imagine, like, going through that all alone. And so I was, when I got diagnosed 5 years ago, I was like, how can I change this for myself? And so that was when
put yourself out there.
Yeah, put myself out there. Reached out to Jess Krauser.
That's what we had. I know you talked to one couple, and then I talked to another couple on a Wednesday night that came into the gym just to observe and see what it's all about. And I was like, I could tell, like, they were somewhat intimidated by the exercises. I was like, don't be intimidated by the exercises. If anything else, join and show up here for the community, for both sides, for the care partners. They all need to vent. I'm sure that to somebody else that understands, like, I don't know why Jessica complains about this all the time, but she does. Or, hey, Erika complains about that too. Is that a real thing? And also, I think they can learn from each other those sort of symptoms and stuff like that, things that work and don't work.
That's a bigger part of it. It's like a lot of times people don't realize something is actually a symptom. And I know we've talked about hallucinations before and delusion, like when you have, like, is it delusions? Like, or is it just more hallucinations? Hallucinations. But, and I know Ryan Reynolds is out there talking about that now too, right? That's from his dad. But, like, it's one of those things that when I had a girlfriend on talk about it on one of our episodes, and I had so many people write back, and they're like, I didn't realize that was because of this. Yeah. Or we didn't talk about that because, like, they didn't know how to handle it.
Yeah.
So even just, like, talking about different symptoms, and you're like, like, I know I talk about my shoulder elbow thing all the time. When I start talking about it, somebody's like, I had that same pain. I didn't realize it was part of this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that... All right, Liz, I'm calling you out. She complains about her shoulder quite a bit. And I guess Parkinson's, because the same thing happens to myself and you.
Yeah. And now I'm actually going to physical therapy every other week because I have to get it, like,
kind of reset.
Yeah, reset. It's weird.
But it's but once again, it's when you go to your doctor, your neurologist, I've been told, it is part of Parkinson's because I didn't have it before.
Yeah.
And when you start realizing that half the gym has the same symptoms.
Yeah. Well, not only that, when I tell people now, I'm like, well, I have like a core group you guys met of my girlfriends from high school, and then I have a group of girlfriends from college. So there's, like, altogether, there's probably like 15 of those girls, 15 or 20. Then I have you guys that are, again, all the same age, roughly same stage of life. There's like 20, 25 of us. I'm like, so this group over here...
Who don't have PD.
Don't have PD, and they're not experiencing this. This group over here, there's like half of them are experiencing the same thing. I'm willing to bet it's probably Parkinson's related.
Absolutely.
So I'm like, don't tell me.
Yeah.
Don't... Meds. Sorry, I got to change that time frame. I swear, my alarm always goes off when we're doing a podcast.
I don't know, it's like we need to start putting something on the refrigerator, not just something.
I know. Well, maybe I should just keep my meds right here and take them.
There's that option.
Yeah.
Yeah, the relief of finding someone who shares a random symptom that you have is so intense sometimes, especially when you've been told by a doctor or even your neurologist, your MDS, like that's not Parkinson's,
Yep.
or that doesn't match with the Parkinson's symptom set. But then you find out that 5 of the other women that are your age with Parkinson's in your
Yeah.
group are all having those same symptoms. It's a
have-
relief.
Yeah,
like
the
I'm
same
not crazy.
joint pain, and you're like,
Yeah.
clearly this can't be just our age.
And then hopefully somebody has more of like a solve or a response of like, we'll read this. Well, like every time we send something, Erica's like, boom. And we're like, you're like
Research paper.
WebMD. Like she comes out with all of this stuff. I'm like, where'd you get this?
She's our group scientist.
Oh,
for
totally.
sure. She could read all the scientific articles and understand them, whereas I read them and it's like gibberish.
Oh, I put it in Chat GPT now. And like, what does
Translate
this
this
say?
Just she is our chat
Google.
GPT.
Yeah, I know. It's honestly, it's like it definitely is helpful.
Yay.
Yay! We need to bring on more of our friends. We get to show all of our friends. So, do you know what we call ourselves? Actually, some of them probably don't
The
even know what we call
Parkinson's
ourselves.
ladies.
No.
What did you say?
The Parkinson's ladies.
Oh, I thought you said the Parkinson's old ladies.
Oh,
How
no,
dare you?
yeah. The enunciate.
I was trying not to say anything inappropriate as well as.
So it's actually cute. So Eric and I think came up with it with Carrie.
Yeah.
And Jamie maybe, but it's YOPD Sorority.
Oh,
The
isn't that
sisterhood.
And it was so
of
cute.
PD.
So you posted that picture of the 3 of us
Yes.
from Friday, and somebody responded, and they're like, "How do I
Rush.
rush?" And somebody's like, "I think you've already been hazed because of like you have Parkinson's. Like, you've already been through it." I know. I was like, that was actually really funny. So, but yeah, I mean, and honestly, like I think our group is great for us because it's like we said, we're the same age. We want that. We want information. We've had people join and they're like, well, this is like
Too much.
overkill. Because I don't read everything.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah, because so I put it on, take those notifications off. But, if you know like one other person, like just start there. It's like just somebody to talk to. And then you could build it out. But I think everybody should have their own little
Support group like that.
group. Yeah.
Crew.
I know. I think it was good for everybody to kind of like. I know I probably talked to about 10, 15 different people about DBS
Yeah.
over the last couple of days.
Yep.
About how, when, why, would I do it again, all those questions. So I think also allowing ourselves to kind of be seen and touched and talked to in the community is a benefit.
Seen and touched and talked to. I
Well,
don't know.
she
I don't
can.
really know about that.
Well, you
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I'm not saying inappropriate touching. I said, are these people real? Does Brian really have DBS?
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
like you helped me out immensely
See? Take that, Jess.
2 years ago. 2 years ago, you took me to the Boston Scientific Tent and like showed me, all that stuff. And at the time, I was thinking, okay, DBS is like way off in the future. Little did I know that a year later I'd be, doing that. And so I was texting with Brian, what did you do before surgery? What can I expect after surgery? And he walked me through that. And it was nice to know Brian at the time. And your community up here, because I didn't know anybody else that had DBS. So
Yeah, Melissa's actually having an event in the gym on Friday.
I don't know, I'm there.
I know, it's so exciting.
Are you gonna go?
Yeah, I'm going.
Okay.
So it's like a DBS
panel.
panel. I think there's going to be a rep from all 3.
All 3 Boston Scientific,
Medtronic.
Abbott,
Medtronics, as well
and
as Abbott. And then Dr. Patel's going to be there.
And then 3 patients.
I think myself, Steve, and
Roz?
maybe.
I don't know. There's a bunch of people who've had DBS done already at the gym, so it could
Yeah.
be multiple
I mean, that's the other benefit of the community piece for us in our group in particular. For me, we were talking about this at lunch as well. Having everyone who's along the different stages, there's that connection you get immediately with someone when you find out they've been diagnosed around the same amount of time as you.
Yeah.
Because you can kind of compare and feel like it's a little more apples to apples, although it's always not quite apples to apples because everyone's different, but you can compare what stage and phase you're in. But then to also have people that are a year, 2 years so you guys are both 2 years ahead of me, to be able to talk about like what's coming and talk to Erika about her DBS experience. That's what community does for me too. It's an outlet as well as like a resource.
No, actually, it motivates me personally. When I go in the gym and I'm 49, I see somebody 80, 75, 80 working out. And I'm complaining about my symptoms.
I know.
Or I'm complaining about the way I walk. I'm like, whoa, this person over here is doing it, so why shouldn't I do it? Kind of like you said with Kate the other day. Like, hey, you see Karen doing it?
Yeah, it's like she's going down.
Yeah.
You could do it too.
Yeah, I was watching some guys today, like, doing push-ups. I was like, okay, I'm doing full-up push-ups, like, on my toes then.
She did like, you did like 10 plus.
I did.
push-ups
I
on
try and do
toes.
as many as I can.
But I think
on my
what's great,
toes.
it's like, yeah, usually when you're in a group setting, it pushes you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, it
But a lot
does.
of people with PD, they don't want to, they don't feel that way because if they're in a regular gym, they're like, oh, well, they don't have it. But when you're surrounded by everybody else who has it, and you're like, oh, damn.
I can't use that as an excuse.
I got to do that plank a little bit longer.
Yeah.
So I'm interested in maybe all three of you, at least you two. What's the one biggest thing you're going to take away from this week and this weekend?
Like, you gotta find a community. Gotta.
And I think for me,
It's
it
so
was,
healthy.
I flew out from Seattle and it was worth it. You know, like if you're thinking about making that jump and meeting people in real life that you've only communicated with on Instagram or chat or Zoom before, I was a little anxious, to be honest. You know, like I know these women, but we've literally never seen each other. It's like going on a blind date or like, you know, it's worth it. I guess that would be my suggestion or my advice to other people is if you're thinking about taking that risk, do it.
Make
It
the
pays
effort.
off. Like this weekend has
Like, totally filled my cup.
It's changed my life, really, to be able to see you guys and meet you and know you.
Yeah.
It's, yeah.
Maybe Columbus can be like the young onset mecca.
Hub.
Right. I mean, because I would say, like, for my takeaway is that there are still so many people out there that, like, you know, we just think of it as an event. Like, but the fact that you guys came out, Tony came down from Cleveland, it's just like, really? Like, you wanted to come all the way out here? Like, oh my God.
That's probably my biggest takeaway this weekend. Like on the Friday night event, we started talking about the people we've reached: Florida,
Oh, yeah.
Detroit, Michigan.
Well, actually, do you know our
yeah.
kits have reached 33 states?
Oh, really?
33 states we've shipped
awesome.
kits to, yeah.
So it's not. Yeah, this is like the hub, but you know what we're doing is so much bigger than just Columbus.
But it's like, and what are you now able to take away and like go back to your community with? Or at least just know that there is the resources or the people here and something.
I think I'm going to have to persuade you to turn the JK into like, there's got to be a pre-event or a post-event that's like a seminar or conference, like a one-day.
So funny you should say that.
Oh, Jill.
I'm nervous where this is going already. I'm a conference planner.
So that's actually for another discussion too. But so I'm working with Dr. Hinkle, who is the movement disorder specialist at Ohio Health as well, and he always likes to bring education to the community, and he's done that for I think the past 5, 6, 7 years, and so I've started working with him on that. And so what I want to do is help them, you know, really have a section for young onset or for newly diagnosed, and then have a conference or something for those that have been diagnosed, like yourself. Like, what other things should you be learning about or knowing about versus like somebody who's just like, what's titrating? How do I go up and down on my meds? And that we're looking for that to be in April. So that could even be something like, you know, can we get people? I know, I will take you in a second. That would even be interesting if, like, you know, why not have other people if they want to fly in for it or, you know, drive in to know that this is going on, this is happening, because we're going to talk about like these specific topics. So even like we talked on our group chat about, was it Social Security or long-term disability?
Yeah.
Like having somebody there to talk about that at this
walk
conference.
us through the process.
Yeah.
Like, how do we apply, you know, when is it appropriate?
Because somebody
I know.
actually at the walk,
Dr. Hinkle's office used to have a social worker attached to his office
Yeah.
that I know in the past had worked with people and walked them through the whole process. Now, whether they still do or not, I don't know.
Well, they can
some
do it at this
centers
conference.
do. I know UF does have a social worker on staff to help you through that process.
And I know somebody that did it themselves, and they said that the social worker said, "Here's what you need. Here's what you know." Give them all
Guides you through.
guide her right through.
But I mean, it's things like that are like super helpful because I know that one of the new guys at the gym, he told me yesterday, he's like, it was your podcast that really helped me. That one gentleman that we interviewed, he talked all about
The
talking
disability
to your
lawyer?
yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I referenced that one.
We should have him back on.
that
even,
was
too.
a useful one.
Yeah.
You should have him speak.
Yeah.
At the
Ooh,
event that
would-
you're doing, have him be one of
There you
the
go.
leaders.
He was very nice.
This will be a moment to put a plug in for an event that doesn't exist yet, just like you are. But last year, I helped the American Parkinson's Disease Association, APDA Northwest
yeah.
chapter, plan a conference called YOPD Con. And it was a 2-day conference just for YOPD.
Like
So cool when
And
you can dress up.
We had about 100 people come, and they've recruited me to volunteer and help again for the next one. So they're skipping 2024, but I think I'm looking at trying to find a venue for 2025.
So didn't you meet anybody there then?
I met one person from my town because I don't live in Seattle proper. I live 90 miles north of Seattle, and I
Okay.
met one person, and he was lovely and amazing. Turns out we live 4 blocks from each other, and he's like in his late 40s. And then I texted him, and he was busy, and we never.
Did he
it was
not
just-
text you back?
He texted me back, but it was like 2 weeks later, and I just felt a little needy, so I let it go.
Yeah.
But I've met lovely people on the.
Usually it's the opposite way for works. Usually I text and they don't text back.
But there will be another one, and it'll be in Seattle proper this time instead of the SeaTac airport area. So it'll be more of a tourist, experience. And I'm going to try and recruit all of you to come. Because Seattle in the summer is beautiful.
What would even be cool, because I know not a lot of people can travel or go
Yeah.
far, but like, what if we if we're connecting and say like, okay, that organization is putting on a conference, how can we kind of make all of our conferences somewhat similar in terms of content?
Yeah.
Like this seems
that
really
you
good
can-
to
yeah.
work, and like might not do it here, why not do it here? So
Yeah, because we had a financial planning seminar in the one that we did last year, and had a financial planner come and speak.
yeah.
And a lawyer came and talked with him a little bit. He happened to actually be someone with PD that was a lawyer in the audience in the group, and the financial planner invited him to come up. He's like, "Why don't you just come up and help me? You know so much too."
That's awesome.
So they kind of co-led the session. There was a women with Parkinson's sub breakout, and then in the general session, it was more broad topics. But we're looking at making it more for this coming time, being maybe more like there's a 1.0 or 101 track and a 201 track. So you can talk about all those basics of
Yeah.
getting diagnosed
Right.
and community building in one, and then get more into like, I don't know, dyskinesia and medication side effects and stuff like that when you're for the people that are more like 3+ years in. So yeah, but I think you do a practice run.
Okay.
Here, I'm happy to help.
Thank you.
Consulting from a distance. And then maybe we can do another one when
Yeah.
it's paired with JK,
Yeah.
5K for JK next year.
That'd be cool.
Because I'll come out for that for sure.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Awesome.
I think the ladies are going to overtake Parkinson's.
All right, well,
You know,
go ahead.
move over, Michael J. Fox. We got some women here. And Brian.
Well, we have Allie's taking.
Oh, yeah, Allie.
Yeah.
Allie's taking
right.
over on the...
Kicking Jimmy Choi to the side. Come on, Jimmy.
I think Jimmy's
Yeah,
probably
I know.
excited.
He's done his
He's dragging
part.
her on.
Yes.
I know.
He's done his
I can-
part.
The past couple
More
times
pow-
I've seen him, he's like, I'm getting tired. But and his
More
kids are
pow-
traveling with
yeah.
sports and
Well, more power to both of them, because it's so hard to be on all the time.
Yeah.
Especially, you never know how you're gonna feel that morning, especially traveling. You guys
Yes.
both travel here, so time zone change, just like that. And
Yeah.
more power to them for doing
They're
that.
both amazing.
so go Allie,
Yeah.
Go, Allie.
go Jimmy.
No,
Still love
what,
it.
it's Allie. What's her last name? Make sure we get the right Allie.
Signorelli.
Signorelli.
Yes.
I'm so
I'm still
bad at
Allie
saying
on
last
Instagram.
names. What?
I'm still Allie on Instagram.
She's the cutest. I mean,
She's
I love her
lovely.
Instagram page. She's
I
just
I love her writing. Yeah.
She came here, or no, we had her on Zoom, and
I
Melissa.
listened.
What?
It was a good episode. I listened.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Melissa was like seriously geeking out. I'm like, Allie, I'm really sorry, but like Melissa's like a huge fan. So, but anyways, well, this is great. Thank you guys so much for coming. I know you have to catch your flight.
Yeah.
My thing's gonna go off again soon. So,
Okay.
I will leave you all with this as we start to grow our nonprofit, which, like I said, includes the First Step Set Kit. I gotta think of a new name maybe for that, but First Step Set Kit, PD Next Steps exercise programs, the podcast. We should put a QR code out there or something. If you would like to donate and help support the content that Brian and I come up with, support exercise programs, hopefully making it outside of, Ohio, outside of our PD Next Steps Columbus, Ohio walls, and getting more kits to people who need them most. You can scan the QR code. Subscribe as well. We need subscribers. I know everybody watches. We have a ton of watchers. But if you subscribe, you won't miss an episode. And we thank you all for joining and letting us know your comments, letting us know what you want to talk about in different topics. But today, all about community. I think it was amazing. So thank you guys so much.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.